On a fateful day in Florida, USA, July 14, 2012, a grim discovery was made. Adrianne Robert, 29 years old, was found lifeless by her roommate, her eyes eerily open but with no signs of life. The investigation that followed would heavily lean on the silent witnesses of the night, CCTV cameras, which played a crucial role in piecing together the events leading to Adrianne's untimely demise. Born on January 4, 1983, in Brunswick, Maine, Adrianne led a life marked by ambition and kindness. A 2001 graduate of Leavitt High School in Maine, she furthered her education at the University of Maine at Augusta. In 2007, she made a significant life change, moving from Maine to Clearwater, Florida. Those who knew Adrianne remembered her as a beacon of light, her presence synonymous with joy and kindness. She was someone who looked forward to the future with unbridled optimism. Adrianne's life was intertwined with her boyfriend Justin, and together they were on the verge of starting a new chapter. However, due to an unexpected business obligation, Justin was absent on the night that would change everything. Nevertheless, he had no reservations about Adrianne spending the evening with Jay, their roommate and friend. The night began innocently enough, with Adrianne and Jay enjoying a few drinks at home, reminiscing about the past. As the evening progressed, they decided to venture out, ending up at the Diamond Doll Strip Club, a place that both of them were familiar with and which remained unchanged to this day. In the early hours, at 3:34 a.m., a frantic 911 call was made by Jay. He reported a chilling scene upon returning home. Adrianne, lifeless on the bathroom floor, showing no signs of breathing. He recounted how they had been at a nightclub earlier, but Adrianne had left before him. When he returned, he was met with a horrifying sight. Despite following the operator's instructions to perform CPR, by the time the paramedics arrived, it was too late. Adrianne was pronounced dead at the scene, her life cut tragically short, sparking a myriad of questions. Who was behind Adrianne Robert's death? Was Jay, her roommate, involved? The investigation was about to delve into a complex web of events, relying on the silent testimony of CCTV footage to uncover the truth. As the investigation unfolded, detectives were met with a scene devoid of any forced entry, suggesting a chilling familiarity between Adrianne and her assailant. Her body was discovered in the bathroom, wearing only a bra, a stab wound to her chest, the grim marker of her struggle for life. The details painted a harrowing picture of her final moments, fighting desperately against her attacker. The absence of Adrianne's car from its usual spot added another layer of mystery to the case, hinting at a possible theft. The police launched a widespread search for witnesses and issued an alert for the missing vehicle, hoping it would lead them to the perpetrator. Their efforts to reconstruct Adrianne's last hours were meticulous, but the immediate task at hand was to deliver the devastating news to her family. The shock and grief that enveloped her parents were palpable. A life full of promise cruelly snatched away. Justin, Adrianne's boyfriend, was blindsided by the tragedy. The sight of police tape surrounding Adrianne's home was a foreboding indicator of the nightmare that had unfolded. The police's revelation of Adrianne's death left him reeling, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. In the ensuing hours, Adrianne's car was found abandoned, its headlights on and keys still in the ignition, a silent witness to the haste of the perpetrator's escape. This discovery only deepened the mystery, prompting a thorough forensic examination in hopes of finding any clue that might lead to the killer. The investigation took a pivotal turn with the examination of CCTV footage from the vicinity of Adrianne's home. Although the footage did not capture the car's abandonment, it did record a man matching the description provided by Jay, heightening the urgency to uncover his movements after leaving the scene. Parallelly, detectives delved into the events leading up to the tragic 911 call. The focus was on Jay, the last known person to see Adrianne alive. His account of the night's events was scrutinized for any inconsistencies that might shed light on the circumstances of Adrianne's death. The interrogation was a critical point in the investigation, piecing together the puzzle of Adrianne's final hours from the perspective of her roommate and friend. The investigators' scrutiny extended to the Diamond Doll Strip Club, the last place Adrianne was seen enjoying the evening. The club's surveillance footage became a focal point, offering a silent narrative of the night's events. As detectives combed through the videos, they captured the arrival and departure of Adrianne and Jay, providing a time-stamped account of their movements. The footage revealed a critical detail: Adrianne leaving the club before Jay, contradicting the notion of a simple night out. More intriguing was the appearance of an unknown man, matching Jay's description. man who interacted with Adrianne outside the club. This interaction, captured on camera, hinted at a new lead, possibly the last person to see Adrianne alive. The investigators found themselves piecing together a puzzle, with each clue leading to more questions. A baffling discovery was made in Adrianne's bedroom, a section of her bedsheet meticulously cut, hinting at the perpetrator's attempt to remove incriminating evidence. This act of foresight by the assailant puzzled the detectives. Why leave behind any part of the sheet at all? The remnants of the sheet, however, provided a crucial lead, traces of what seemed to be seminal fluid, sending the investigators on a new trajectory to uncover the DNA profile of the unknown assailant. As the investigation deepened, the narrative of Adrianne's last hours began to take shape, guided by the silent witness of CCTV footage and the forensic evidence collected from the scene. The detectives were piecing together a timeline, a story of a night that started with laughter and camaraderie but ended in tragedy, leaving a void in the hearts of those who knew and loved Adrianne. The search for witnesses and the examination of additional CCTV footage broadened the scope of the investigation. A neighbor's account added a perplexing layer to the case, reporting a late-night sighting of Adrianne and a man in an unexpected sprint along the sidewalk. This observation, while initially dismissed as innocuous, now took on a sinister hue under the lens of the investigation, suggesting a potential chase or a desperate attempt to escape. The focus then shifted back to Jay, Adrianne's roommate, who was brought in for a detailed interrogation. His account of the night's events at the Diamond Dolls strip club became a critical piece of the puzzle. According to Jay, their night was interrupted by the presence of an unknown man who later joined their table. This stranger's interaction with Adrianne, followed by her early departure from the club, raised suspicions about his involvement in the subsequent events leading to her demise. The investigators turned their attention to the Diamond Dolls strip club, hoping its surveillance footage would shed light on the mysterious man's identity and his interactions with Adrianne. The club's cameras, strategically placed to capture the comings and goings of patrons, offered a clear view of the events of that night, corroborating Jay's account and providing a visual timeline of Adrianne and Jay's movements. This meticulous review of the footage revealed a critical moment: Adrianne leaving the club, followed by the unknown man who had joined them earlier. Their interaction outside the club, captured on camera, was the last known sighting of Adrianne before her tragic end. This man, now a key figure in the investigation, became the focus of the detectives' efforts to piece together the final hours of Adrianne's life and identify her assailant. As the investigation deepened, the detectives were faced with the challenge of connecting the dots between the mysterious man, the DNA evidence, and the sequence of events that led to Adrianne's untimely death. The quest for justice became a race against time, with each piece of evidence bringing them closer to unraveling the truth behind a night that had started with promise but ended in tragedy. In a breakthrough moment, the investigation focused on a man captured on the club's CCTV footage, who was later seen near Adrianne's abandoned car. This critical lead shifted the narrative towards him as a prime suspect. The detectives painstakingly analyzed every frame of the footage, comparing it to the man seen walking away from Adrianne's vehicle. Despite the challenges posed by the night's poor recording quality, the investigators were convinced of a connection. The narrative deepened with a neighbor's testimony, which added a chilling layer to the case. They reported an unusual sight: Adrianne and a man, not dressed for a late-night jog, sprinting down the sidewalk. This account, initially overlooked, now painted a harrowing picture of Adrianne's final moments, suggesting a desperate flight rather than a leisurely run. Armed with these new insights, the detectives revisited the events leading up to the 911 call. Jay, the roommate, was scrutinized once more. His narrative of the evening at Diamond Dolls was under the microscope, with investigators seeking inconsistencies that might point to his involvement or reveal more about the mysterious man who had joined them that night. The club's surveillance footage became the cornerstone of the investigation. It validated Jay's account of leaving the club alone, but more importantly, it captured Adrianne's departure, followed closely by the unknown man. This sequence of events contradicted Jay's initial claim of ignorance regarding Adrianne's fate. After leaving the club, the investigators' focus narrowed to this unknown man, his interactions with Adrianne, and his movements after their departure from the club. The club's CCTV footage provided a clear timeline of events, but the true intentions and actions of this man remained shrouded in mystery. As the detectives delved deeper, they pieced together a chilling narrative of Adrianne's last hours. The forensic evidence, coupled with the CCTV footage and witness testimonies, pointed towards a sinister conclusion. Adrianne's final night, which began with joy and camaraderie, had taken a dark turn, leading to a tragic end. The investigation was now on the cusp of a significant breakthrough, with the evidence inching closer to unveiling the perpetrator behind this heinous act. The decisive turn in the investigation came with the identification of Thomas Frederick as the primary suspect, thanks to the meticulous analysis of the club's CCTV footage and the subsequent tracing of a taxi he used. The detectives, armed with this new lead, embarked on a covert surveillance operation, biding their time to gather incontrovertible evidence against Frederick. The surveillance paid off when Frederick carelessly discarded a cigarette butt. Seizing this opportunity, the investigators collected it for DNA analysis, hopeful that it would match the unknown male DNA found at the crime scene. This piece of evidence was the linchpin, potentially linking Frederick directly to the crime. As the tension mounted, the forensic results confirmed the investigators' suspicions. The DNA from the cigarette butt matched the samples collected from Adrianne's home. With this damning evidence, the police moved swiftly to arrest Frederick, bringing him in for questioning. During the interrogation, Frederick's narrative began to unravel. Initially, he painted a picture of a casual encounter with Adrianne at the club, but as the evidence mounted against him, his story shifted. Confronted with the incontrovertible DNA evidence and the inconsistencies in his account, Frederick was forced to admit his presence at Adrianne's home on the night of the murder. The trial that followed was a culmination of the painstaking investigative work. The prosecution presented a compelling narrative, supported by forensic evidence and CCTV footage, which painted a vivid picture of Frederick's actions on the fateful night. Despite the defense's attempts to discredit Adrianne and claim self-defense, the jury saw through the facade. Thomas Frederick was found guilty of first-degree homicide and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This verdict brought a sense of closure to Adrianne's family, who had endured unimaginable grief. The conviction was a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice by the investigators, ensuring that the perpetrator faced the consequences of his heinous act. Adrianne's story, marked by a tragic end, serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring quest for justice. Her family's resilience in the face of such adversity reflects their unwavering love and the memory of Adrianne, whose vibrant spirit and infectious smile will forever be remembered. The case's conclusion brought a semblance of closure to Adrianne's grieving family and friends, albeit the pain of her loss remained acute. Thomas Frederick's conviction for first-degree homicide offered a grim resolution to a case that had gripped the community with its brutality and senselessness. The meticulous investigation, underscored by the crucial DNA evidence and the detailed reconstruction of the night's events through CCTV footage, underscored the tragic reality of a night that began with promise but ended in irreversible tragedy. Adrianne's parents, faced with the unbearable task of continuing without their beloved daughter, sought solace in the fact that justice had been served, albeit at the cost of an irreplaceable loss. The trial, with its harrowing details and the defense's attempts to malign Adrianne's character, was a taxing ordeal for them. Yet they stood firm, driven by the desire to see justice prevail for Adrianne. The community's support, alongside the unwavering dedication of the police and prosecution, was a beacon of hope amidst the darkness of the ordeal. It highlighted the collective yearning for justice and the profound impact of Adrianne's life on those around her. Her vibrant spirit, characterized by her infectious smile and zest for life, left an indelible mark on all who knew her. The story of Adrianne Robert's tragic end and the subsequent investigation that led to Thomas Frederick's conviction is now complete. The narrative covered the discovery of Adrianne's lifeless body, the detailed investigation that followed, the crucial role of forensic evidence and CCTV footage, and finally, the trial and conviction of the perpetrator. It concluded with the impact of Adrianne's loss on her family and friends and their quest for justice, which, while successful in the legal sense, could never compensate for the profound loss of Adrianne. Now this end of the story, so please press on subscribe button and click on bell icon for new video notification.